Rogue Savage Land. Will Rogue stop Zaladane? Karmic recaps. Snowflakes as big as cotton balls drift down from the sky. Rogue muses that snow usually means snowmen, hot chocolate and fires, things that cover her skin from others. Normally I'd be happy to see it, but here in the Savage Land, she shivers. Here, snow means death. Above her, she slips down an icy embankment, yelling, "Oh, heck." Magneto below shouts, "And we're running out of time to get to Mount Flavius where the last tower stands." Farther ahead, Khazar and Zabu approach the shores of Shallan. Magneto shouts, "Rogue, the path is frozen over, you have to." Rogue, losing her footing, replies, "Yeah, I know, it's just. I started slipping, you know. But when my brain shouted, grab something." Looking back at Magneto, she continues, "It said, don't worry, hun, you can fly." As Magneto catches her, Rogue sighs, "HNF. You savin' my butt is getting to be a habit, Eric." Magneto thinks to himself, "Just as I was congratulating myself about surviving without my powers for the past few weeks, I get a reminder of how much they use to totally define me." Aloud, he simply says, "Yes, I understand." Khazar's voice rings out through the snowy forest. "Rogue, Magneto, come. There's something you have to see." "Rogue," the man shouts. "Why, you said you would end the black curse on the man-apes, Lord Khazar." Another cries, "Now. All my brothers and sisters are dead, fallen before the Fall People's demon weapons," Khazar says, "but you brought greater darkness. All allies of Gorma are called to make war on your beloved Fall tribe." Magneto thinks, "The Zaladane technology. Rogue and I encountered it earlier. Then the boy was meant to ambush Neril and her forces." Rogue, cradling one of the wounded in her arms, says, "That wounded. It ain't the kind you can fix." The wounded man says, "I've failed the Bata tribe. The man-apes, great Chief Gorma. I must die alone." Rogue replies, "Nah, hun, not when I'm around." Khazar states, "The Fall people. If my wife had been with them, she would have brokered some kind of peace. I sent Shanna and my son away when the conflicts began. But Neril," the wounded man says, "was born of this land. She will fight, and she will win." Khazar exclaims, "Magni, even if that's true, we must stop this war." Another voice replies, "No, Lord Plunder, we do not." Magneto grows agitated. "Zaladane's attack on the world parents is the cause of this. If she succeeds in taking the final tower, the devastation will be worse and for longer. We don't have time for this primitive ignorance and conflict." Rogue retorts, "Primitive? Are you justifying letting these people kill each other because they're scared?" Growling, Magneto says, "Even Khazar said he had little love for the man-apes. A tribe of them killed all of Zabu's kind. It was their faith, their superstition." Magneto shouts, "I warn that once war begins, it doesn't end. Violence is met with more violence. The same foolish superstition that now leads them to a battle they can't win. The Fall people are simply superior." Rogue yells back, "Now hold on. I defended you. I said you changed. But superior this and inferior that sounds an awful lot like the Magneto who the X-Men fought all of them years. You said it yourself. When a war starts, it doesn't ever really end." Magneto thinks, an emotional statement, not a strategic one. Rogue says, "Khazar came to this savage place years ago. You've been here a few months, and somehow you're the one who lost all his humanity, Eric." Magneto pauses, then says, "Nearby, I detect a sudden concentration in metal items. Spears, daggers, Zaladane weaponry. You should go now, Rogue." Scene explodes into a full-scale war between the Fall people and the man-apes. Armed with spears and blasters, the Fall people unleash a barrage of weapons, while the man-apes charge forward with clubs and axes. The war for the Savage Land has begun. A warrior shouts, "The Fall people ally themselves with evil spirits. They wield fire weapons. They must all die." In the midst of the chaos, a man-ape roars, "They must ook." Khazar cries out, "Khazar." As Rogue swings through the trees, she reflects, "Oh my." Swinging in a loincloth in the cold is an entirely different experience. "But I suppose you knew that, Khazar," Neril says. "HNF. We need them to stand down. I'll convince Gorma. Neril is all yours." Zaladane remarks, "Sure thing. Just a little girl talk right after I get through her army." "No biggie," Whiteout exclaims, Outlander. Rogue is attacked by Whiteout. Whiteout declares, "I'll burn your eyes from your skull." Rogue responds, "Whiteout, Jungle Boy, we ain't alone." One of the Fall people announces, "The mutates are here." Barbatus says, "Lord Plunder, Barbarus requests an audience." As Khazar battles with a man-ape, the man exclaims, "Make an appointment with my secretary." Zabu attacks the man-ape, roaring, "Rugn!" Mount Flavius erupts. A voice exclaims, "Rejoice! The hour of godbirth is upon us. Zaladane stands atop the tower, arms outstretched, and declares, I renounce the sun, I renounce the sea. I become the very earth, Magneto, arriving at the scene, says, I tire of playing your game. Zaladane turns to him. Magneto, what a pleasure to meet you. Even if I feel like I already know you, I've been watching you, seeing what you see, feeling what you feel. When I took the magnetic powers of Polaris, it seems I became linked to you body and soul. We're almost like a family now, aren't we? Lorna Dane like my sister, and you my long-lost. Magneto interrupts her. No. My daughter was burned in front of me. Your delusions won't save you from justice. Zaladane says, Delusions? Oh, I think you'll see my vision is clear. How else would I know that your mutant powers have been in flux for days? That you try to hide their unpredictable function from Rogue and Khazar? How else would I know you fear those powers might leave and never return, running out of your body like blood from a wound? Magneto says. Meanwhile, leaving someone you care about to die as you're impotent to save them. Zaladane replies, This war, Magneto, it's no distraction. It's a crucible. I will become goddess of this land, but only for those worthy of me. That was your mutate's idea, Magneto. Zaladane continues, a final conflict with only the survivors fit to be my flock. There will be no treaties, no détente. The bloodshed ends only when the mutates say so, a lesson from their creator, from you. Magneto finishes with, how would you feel if you were to use the very last of your powers to stop me, only for Rogue to die in a vicious battle? Zaladane continues, that you are ultimately responsible for. With a smirk, she declares, I know the answer, Magneto. As Magneto begins his assault, Zaladane thinks, do you? The expected choice, but still a little disappointing. HNH, Zaladane shrieks. Who? Does not every god deserve a witness? Zaladane completes her transformation with, to their final apotheosis. Rogue, locked in combat with Whiteout, thinks to herself, got memories of this girl in my head from the time I absorbed Colossus. Her reflective skin blinds everyone around, so she's got to cover herself up. I can relate, but I'll give her a headbutt that has her seeing lights of her own anyway. Stunned, Whiteout cries out, GH. As the two crash into a machine, Neril calls out, Neril, call off the dogs. Meanwhile, the battle between Rogue and a green-skinned warrior takes a messy turn, and Rogue thinks, girl, I also got Pete's memories of a pretty intimate evening, so the least you can do is look at me when I'm talking to you. She's suddenly covered in sludge. Disgusted, Rogue shouts, oh shucks, I got slimed. Khazar. Khazar fights Gorma and says, Neril ain't in her right mind, and I'll bet the chief ain't either. Gorma retorts, I'm getting that impression. Don't you want to play war games with us, M-Lord? Not to be outdone by the worm, I used my substantial intellect to whip up some influence of my own, he continues. Now, courtesy of my sign-ducer, Chief Gorma believes as I do. The weak should die, war is fun, Brainchild is handsome. Khazar battles with Brainchild. Brainchild says, you twisted little geek, and Khazar replies, oh my. As often as I've seen it, I must admit. Magneto arrives saying, lay down your arms, retreat to your sides. An entrance by Magneto is always impressive. Magneto says, an impervious wall will end this futile conflict, my powers. Not again. The big show of magnetic bluster that make the fillings in your teeth hurt doesn't happen. Brainchild shouts, you abandon me, master, leaving Eric to fall right into Brainchild's creepy lil hands. But I'll make sure you can never forget me. GH, the jet crashes. Rogue thinks Magneto's plan was solid. We do need a real big distraction. But my mutant ability to steal superpowers is as gone as Magneto's magnetism. Who says I gotta steal a superpower? Rogue, grabbing Whiteout, says, when all I gotta do is borrow it for a little bit. Whiteout cries out, gah. Rogue continues, excuse me, hun. Just need that sparkly complexion for a sec. The full people are blinded by Whiteout's skin. Magneto says, I can't see. As Rogue is knocked backwards, she shouts, Khazar, you're on Suga. Khazar stands atop a pile of bones and addresses the people. Blinded and battered, the guy who used to be the Englishman, Kevin Plunder, steps up and speaks. His voice carries over the blood-covered beach through whipping snow. He speaks of coming to this land from the world outside, of discovery and exploration, of integrity and kindness. He speaks of unity. Weapons are laid down. Brainwashed generals are restrained. Rogue, however, thinks, and for a second all I can think is, hot damn, that she-devil is a lucky lady. The tower is attacked and begins to crumble. An enemy exclaims, Ha 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 ha, you fools. Do you think matters what Zaladane has already won? Another voice narrates. Her temple will rise atop Mount Flavius from the ashes of the past. She will recreate this broken land in her image. The narrator continues, and she has ensured that Neriel was not the only one who the worship has converted to her faith. Even the she-devil stands ready to die for her. Shanna says, "Go, try to stop the goddess and let your blood consecrate the path of the new pilgrimage." Ha 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 ha. Magneto punches Brainchild, shouting, "Silence, you prattling whelp." Shanna says, "Magni, we need to get to my family now. Shoot me off in a damn cannonball if that's what it'll take." Kazar replies, "Wait, Kazar, I'll get the urgency, but don't you see? Eric's power's been acting Fritzwhy this whole time." Magneto reflects, "A fact I withheld until I was sure what was occurring. I assumed their gradual diminishment was due to Zaladane's manipulations, but I see now. Rogue, the one who has taken away my powers, is you." Rogue stares with shock. To be concluded. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.